every goddamn week.
Welcome back. I'm doing part 2 of Total Recall here. It's the next day. I got a different t-shirt on. You can see it says Go Yuck Yourself. It's from when I worked at a comedy club called Yuck Yucks. Go check it out when it reopens. COVID really fucked a lot of businesses, didn't it? So, representing Yuck Yucks. Seth Rogen used to perform there. I met his mom there at an event. She was sleepy. I think she was a little jet lagged. She was a little zoned out. Very nice though. Anyway, so yeah, where are we at here? The big scene, right? Quaid is in his hotel room on Mars, and the creepy little weird guy is there with his big glasses, and he's gonna set him straight, basically. So this is like, this just show someone this one scene and they'll understand like the movie, basically. Like I mentioned in part 1, it was my intro to this movie that made me interested in watching it in the first place. If you can see me on video right now, you can see I'm fidgeting. I still haven't sprung for a new chair. There's probably a more comfortable chair somewhere around here, but I'm just stubbornly sitting on this fucking section of church pew. Like church pews are probably more better for your back than this shit. So whatever. Not to complain or anything, but anyway. Just in case I'm like distracted and shifting around, and that's what's going on. Anyway, enough bullshit. I gotta get through this motherfucker. So, yeah. This guy basically spells out for Quaid, like, look, you're still back at Recall, actually. Remember me? I'm the guy from the ad. Aren't you starstruck? You saw me in these ads on the train. I'm the whole reason you're here. I'm the little man behind the curtain. And I'm shooting straight here, and I'm telling you, look, you're not here right now. You're not on Mars. You've never been to Mars. You're back at Recall, and we need you to come back, basically. So this whole thing, and he gets Laurie to come back. I'm not going to spell out the whole scene. It doesn't really matter. All he's saying is like, look, you have to come back now, or else you're just going to keep going down this dream. You're going to keep going down this rabbit hole, and we're not going to be able to get you back to reality. And you're basically just going to be lobotomized, like he was warned by his coworker about, like don't go to Recall. You might end up losing your fucking mind. And this guy's saying like, yeah, sorry, we screwed up, and yeah, like if you don't come back, if you don't choose to wake up, then you're just gonna stay here, basically. This is like, it's a sci-fi concept, but it's also, I don't know, like it makes me think of like in fiction, at least, like people in comas. And also, like it's actually a great episode of Mike Tyson Mysteries where they have to go into this lady's dreams in her coma to try and get her to wake up. Great show, by the way, Mike Tyson Mysteries. Check it out. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. It's fucking funny. But also like creepypastas and stuff. Like I remember reading years ago something on like the creepypasta subreddit that like really stood out, and it was like just the way it was written was so cool, because it was kind of like, it wasn't like written as a scary story, it was written as a like it just explaining how sometimes people in comas will, if someone in a coma will have dreams where the people who are trying to get them to wake up are showing up in their dreams, and or like in this scene, or I think it says more specifically, they'll just see little hints in their imagined reality, in their coma dream, saying to wake up. And every time it says wake up, it's capitalized. It's all caps. I really like that, because then by the end it's like but really all they have to do is wake up, as if it's saying to the reader, like, this is happening to you. You're in a coma right now reading this. You gotta wake up. And you're like, oh shit, questioning reality. Like I used to freak out about that. There's a reason I'm obsessed with these false reality stories and movies. It's like it just would freak me out when I was younger, and it was good ultimately, because it would lead me to like existentialism and spirituality and Because it's a heavy question. It's like, what is reality, right? But when you start, you can really freak yourself out entertaining the idea that that actually what you think is real is not. My like weird imagination, the idea I came up with when I was like 11 or 12, was that what if I lived forever? Like, what if I wasn't able to die? And so what happened was I just watched everybody around me die, and eventually watched the whole of humanity die, and then the world exploded or disintegrated, and I'm just floating in space. And man, like I had this whole like thing, freaked out. I just couldn't sleep one night, and this came to mind. It's like, what if I'm imagining all this? What if I've imagined my whole life up to this point just as a way to keep from going crazy while I'm like floating in the vacuum of space? And I don't know. And then I would read things like ideas that like that's all that God is, man. I don't know. Whatever. It's the first step in an interesting path for me, or one of many. But it was panic inducing. I would freak out at this idea that like, you're not really here, and if you think that too much, you could actually really dissociate and start getting never feeling normal, and especially if you're getting like, just anxiety attacks or whatever, which I kind of was around that time. So anyway, you're hearing a lot about my personal past and psychology in this. This is a great therapy session. Once again, whatever, it's bound to happen, right? I'm a human being. You're going to hear about me if I sit here talking for an hour or two. But anyway, so I really liked this scene. I liked this idea that it's like, not only are you imagining all this, but like you're sitting in a chair drooling on yourself, in like a weird machine or whatever. While your loved ones, like your wife, is looking at you, because he brings Lori in here and she's wearing a pantsuit and she has her hair done and she looks oh so demure and athletic, and so obviously, but not a brunette, so not Arnie's dream girl, but clear, like putting on a facade of like, you never pointed a gun at my face. We never had that whole thing. I'm not in love with Richter. None of that's real. I'm not. Wait, didn't he like shoot her in the head? Now I'm really getting confused here. What did happen there, actually? No, wait a minute. Jeez. Whoa. Isn't that, am I wrong? Wasn't she shot in the fucking head? And then here she is. So sure seems like, this is all BS or whatever. Or no, she's not shot in the head yet. She couldn't have been. Okay, sorry. I totally got scrambled there and thought like that would have changed the whole movie. God, shoot me in the head. Anyway, so yeah, but this guy's saying like you're just gonna totally go down the tubes mentally, and you're gonna be a vegetable. And why would you do that to poor Lori? Look at her in her nice pantsuit, her gray pantsuit. I'm not even looking at my notes. What else do I have here? Quaid is supposedly lost in his own delusion. Schizoid embolism is the super technical term that they're using. So it's like you're going crazy and your brain's going to blow up. I think that's what that means. And the dream started during his procedure. It's like he's just explaining what I've kind of been talking about this whole time, which is like, everything after you sat down in the Total Recall machine, you've been imagining all of this. How does it make any sense? And he says like, look, you got everything that was sold to you. You got like as part of your vacation. What is this? Trip to Mars. What is this? Whatever. Can't read my own writing sometimes. Suite at the Hilton. Try writing along to this movie. It's fast. Anyways, making excuses. Suite at the Hilton. The girl who's sleazy and demure. Chases. Oh, that's what that says. I thought it said classes. I'm like, that's not a vacation. vacation from fun, maybe going to a class, boring. Yeah, Chase is like, it's all there. He's like, you're living out a hero fantasy. This isn't real. And he says like, look, what's more likely that, you know, there's the vast conspiracy to keep you from facing, or a vast conspiracy to make you think that you're just what does he call him, a lowly construction worker. He's like, you think there's just a conspiracy to tell you that you're like a just average Joe, or do you think maybe you are just like an average Joe and you're imagining all this shit? Which is a really great way to shut down conspiracy theorists, by the way. I don't know if I'd put myself quite in that category, but well, I mean, a little bit. You can't believe what you're told, right? So not all the time. You know, there's misinformation and disinformation and piss information all over the fucking place. So you have to filter, and eventually you kind of, if you're smart, you come up with your own schemes of what's going on, or you find an alternative story for what, you know, whatever the mainstream explanation for things. So I guess I'm a conspiracy theorist, whatever. With the internet, who isn't who these days? Shit, haven't even mentioned like QAnon. I'm not like a big QAnon person. The only people I know who are big QAnon people are like acquaintances that I've met through work, and one of them had to apologize to my coworker recently because she flipped the fuck out, screamed at him, and I think threw things at him. Maybe I'm confusing her with another crazy person that threw coffee at him. Whatever. She, and it was about masks. Didn't want to wear a mask. Didn't think anyone should wear masks. Went on a whole rant. Anyway, the Quado QAnon thing. Like, I don't know that much about QAnon, to be admittedly, but like, what's up with the Q thing? Do they watch this movie and get like inspired? Is it Quado? I don't know. Maybe that's an episode I got to do. I don't know, like a QAnon episode. Figure that shit out, because whatever. It's such a weird thing, and you see these people, they're so into it. But anyway, I like joining stuff. Hey, you got an alternative, weird, schizoid fucking explanation of things. I don't know if I'll join your group, but maybe I'll, you know, audit a meeting or whatever. I don't know how they work. Anyway, so yeah, Quaid says like, look, I dreamed about that bitch before. Okay. You know, he says like, yeah, I had a dream about this woman. You know, he's like, you hear yourself? She's real because you dreamed her. It's like, yeah, my dreams are real. Fuck you. One thing I really like about this movie is sort of I was thinking in the shower just now about the ultimate like underlying thing that I like about it. And it's like, it all goes back to David Lynch. It's like life is a dream. Movies are like dreams. You know, he helped me understand that and kind of have it make sense and not just sound silly, especially the life is a dream thing. You know, it's like, what are we all row in our boats here? Yes. Anyway, Laurie. Yeah, so Laurie's here. I'm here at Recall. Really cool shots of them. I mean, I haven't talked. I don't know. I generally don't talk too much about the camera work and stuff like that on this podcast because it's just hard. It's easier to just go and watch it. But like, I really like here how they have her like walking. She's centered and she's walking straight at the camera while she's walking towards Quaid, and then it cuts to the reverse of Quaid looking at her, and he's like centered looking at the camera or just off camera, and the camera's pushing in on him. It's just like they're both coming at the camera in those shots. Just whatever. Just looks cool. Just draws you in. You know, you're just getting sucked into this movie. It's great. Basic enough stuff, but like it really works. And their performances are good and everything. It's, yeah. Yeah, so the hard sell, again, basically from this little man saying, like, just toying with Arnold is how I feel this is going. Arnold Quaid never seems that smart. He's clever, but he's not that clever. He's able to be messed with to the point where I'm, like, wondering what he's going to do here if it's the first time watching this. And that's what I like here is the space that it creates where it's like he's It's funny, he gives him a red pill, and it's like, oh, this is like 9 years before the Matrix. Maybe that's in other movies too, I don't know. And now that's like a whole term. Yeah. Are you red pilled on women? The fuck are you talking about? You hear these fucking, the way that, I don't know, it's fun to say as a joke, but you gotta, like, it'll be like, oh, that's so red pilled. I don't know, it's just funny. It's such a pretentious fucking term. It's so up your own smug ass to say that you're red pilled. I don't care what you mean. It's just like, or woke. I don't like that word either. Sorry, I don't like either of those words. I think you sound like a fucking asshole if you call yourself either one of them. I guess people don't really, but, or maybe they do. I don't think, I think people are self-aware enough not to call themselves that anymore. I don't know. I guess I got to spend more time on the internet because I'm out of the loop. Like, aren't those douchey terms? Just being like, just say you're like enlightened and sniff your own farts, you fucker. Quaid puts a gun to the little man's head, yes. And he's like, hey, well, if this is all imaginary, why don't I just blow your fucking brains out? Makes sense. And he's like, well, that won't, I'm not at risk here. That won't hurt me, but you'll go crazy, okay, Quaid? If I no longer exist, I'm your guide. You need me, or else you're going to be stuck here, and no one's going to be able to guide you out, including Lori. Anyway, like Lori's right there. You think like maybe she could. So Quaid's starting to put it together. He's like, I think this guy's full of shit. And the ultimate thing that, he's like, yeah, you'll be lobotomized, blah, 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 living out your fantasies. And Quaid, what tips him off finally is like, there's just this tense moment, and then he sees a bead of sweat dribble down this ugly little fuck's face. And that does it. He's like, haha, if you have nothing to fear, you would not have a bead of fucking nightmare fear sweat going down your face while Arnold points a gun at your head. Like, you just wouldn't. You'd be like, more. He's pretending to be all professional and calm and blah blah blah, but like, he has a gun to his head and he's behaving the way someone actually would, or he's responding in a way that someone actually would if they had a gun to their head, which is to have a little bead of sweat. Now you could ask, well, maybe, because I remember the first time being like, aha, Quaid is actually in reality, these guys are lying to him. Boom, bam, blammo, the smoking gun, that bead of sweat, followed by a real smoking gun when he blows his fucking head off. But like, if it's all imagined, then if you want to argue that, then you could just say, well, he imagined the bead of sweat. That's part of his fantasy. He's fantasizing about being on Mars. Why can't he imagine a bead of sweat on a guy's head? Like, right? Because that, right? So you're still inconclusive. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say like anything is actually cut and dried with this. It's always, to me, gonna be dual. Two different realities being played out in front of you. It's really fun. Really fills your brain up. This movie's just bursting at the seams. I love it. Yeah. But he puts the pill in his mouth first, shoots the guy, and then like spits it out at him. And Laurie's like, oh, this is great. It's so dramatic. She goes, now you've done it. Now you've done it. It's so good. It's like The Wicked Witch of the West or something. It's just so like, no, bad things are going to happen. Wah. Yeah. And sure enough, like I said, this is a bit like Inception, where it's just like, oh, now reality's turning on you. But I don't know. Really, it's just like they heard the gunshot and here they come, because dudes burst through the wall and Arnold fights all of them, of course. Laurie beats him up for making her come to Mars. Arnold goes, ah! Yep. Oh yeah, then you get like cool Richter. Like I really like, the more times I watch this, the more I like Richter. I just like Michael Ironside, but a lot of the time he's kind of like, he's just being a character actor and just filling a role. I don't know. I'm not saying he waters his performances down or anything, but sometimes they're not the most interesting characters. They're just sort of like utility character who just need to explain something or whatever, fill some role. But here he's really interesting, and you sympathize with him, and at least empathize with him a lot. He's sitting here at the bar, but like, and he's just waiting around. But like his physical acting is so interesting in this movie, because here he gets a call on the video phone from Laurie. Yeah, and he puts his arm around the video phone. It's really, he like kind of rests his arm on it, and he's just kind of cuddling this video phone while she's on it. It's really interesting. And then I don't know if this is how he hangs up or what, but he like touches the screen as they hang up, and he's got this little grin, like this little sly little on his face, like heh heh heh. I don't know. You really feel like, yeah, he's really into this girl. It's like his whole reason for being. His life kind of sucks and it's exhausting, and his boss is a dick, and his goons are a bunch of shitheads, and so this is really the only good thing in his life, it seems. Which would, like, I guess he lives on Earth then, if Laurie doesn't like going to Mars. I don't know. Yeah. So, and he's like, time to get Quaid. Let's go. Quaid is dragged in cuffs by goons. So they got him. And Melina is, so this is cool. They get to this freight elevator, and who's in there? Melina, who shoots goons. Also, like, I don't know when or how to bring this up exactly, but like Arnold in real life, like, cheated on his wife, like a Hispanic lady, and like, I don't know if Melina's supposed to be Hispanic, but like Melina, maybe she's Italian. I don't, but just kind of, once I noticed that, I couldn't not notice it. I was like, oh, it's weird. It's like he's gonna have an illegitimate son who is in way better shape than his legitimate offspring. Anyway, total side note, tangent, just funny, like, just a funny thing. Anyway, who cares? Maybe that's nothing. I don't know. I just thought it was like, it's like, Arnold in real life can't just have the one woman, can he? Anyway. Melina shoots all the goons. Yep. And then fights with Laurie. And Laurie's got like there's blood splattering everywhere. So it's really, I love the little details. Like Laurie's suit has blood on it while they're fighting. It looks cool. Yeah. Quaid shoots knife out of Laurie's hand, and Laurie is like really grasping at straws here, and she's like, oh, you still love me, don't you, Quaid? And then pulls a gun on him and gets shot in the fucking head. So this is where she gets shot in the head. Sorry, I screwed that up earlier. Too bad for Richter, right? Consider that a divorce. Oops, I need that thing. Oh, Arnold. I wonder how much like of that was just in his contract or whatever. Like that was like a rider thing or whatever whatever it is. It's like I have to say quips. I have to say clever things in my movies. I don't know. It's probably, or they just were like, well, as Arnold, he's got to say some cool quips when he kills people. So, Quado wants to see Quaid. Now it's time for that to happen. And of course, Richter's all sad about Laurie. It's sad. He goes through a real tragedy here. Arnold just like shoots someone that in his mind was his wife like a day or two ago or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he thought that was really his wife and went through, implanted memories, let's say, but still he just blasts her through the fucking head, and Richter's like, well, we really loved each other, and you ruined that, dick. You shot a woman in the head. I mean, she had it coming, but still. So Richter's very mad. He's shooting at them. And goon number one is kind of main guy, is like he's about to shoot at Arnold, and Arnold's just standing there like an idiot. But he's right behind him is the glass dome, so goon can't shoot him, and he's frustrated. He's like, damn it. Because if he shoots that dome, everyone's dead. And then, but Richter shows up, and he's so mad he doesn't even care. He just starts shooting, and he hits a ladder or something. The guy's like, what are you trying to do? Kill us? God damn it. You fucking crazy bastard. You're going to shoot the dome. So they catch the taxi with Benny, who once again is going on about how he has 5 kids to feed. Yeah, we'll find out about those kids later. Chasing, shooting, yeah. Good stuff, good action. They drive through a building and escape. I love all the sets getting wrecked in this movie. All the like blowing up sets, having people push a big hole through a set, and it's really fun how they set that all up. What the hell is the budget on this thing? I didn't even check. A lot. I mean, it's a big movie. So Dean Norris, with the fucked up face, he hides them. They go back to the last resort, and this bothered me a little bit this time. I don't really care. It's like whatever. It is what it is. But they're going back to the last resort now, and Benny says like, "You guys are going in circles." I'm like, yeah, they kind of are. Like, for a movie that's just like going from like, it's just so fast paced, going from here to here to here to here to here to here. It's just interesting that they like circle back to the last resort. But it's not the weirdest thing in the world. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Goons show up, but Dean Norris is like being cool about, he's buried the hatchet with these guys or whatever. And I guess he cares about Melina, so he's like, yeah, Quaid, I'll save you too. Opens a hole in the wall. Come on, hides them in there, But then the goons and Richter show up, and Richter is not fucking around. He shoots the 3-titted lady. Dang. And Dean Norris is like, no, and does like a cool kick, and he kicks him. Kill them all, says Richter, and they're just these guys with just big machine guns are just I will say, like, about the action in this movie, it's obviously I don't expect it to be totally realistic, but it kind of feels like a kid wrote some of these scenes where it's just like, and they go and they shoot everybody. Like, it has like a very like kid logic sort of thing where I'm just like, man, it would be so loud in there, and like a bunch of guys with guns would shred through these basically unarmed hookers, etc., pretty easily. It just, I don't know. Just sometimes I'm like, it took me out of it a little bit. I'm really nitpicking here. I don't actually care that it's movie violence. It's fine. It's all fine. The story is solid. It's really well written. It's just some of the action and the shooting is a little like you roll your eyes at it, but I guess that's just Verhoeven, whatever. Like, I go watch RoboCop, Chris. Like, you think this guy's trying to go for realism all the time? No. I'm talking to myself. Let's go. Yeah, kill them all. Lots of shooting. Cohagen tells Richter, though. This is another thing where really like cool lighting and stuff, but also the physical acting of Michael Ironside. Where he goes out to his car where he's got a little video phone in there, where Cohagen is like, just his face is just yelling at him. And like he goes in and he like grips the steering wheel in this weird like intense way where you can see he has a lot of tension in his body. It's fucking great. It's awesome. I don't know. And Cohagen though says, he's like, get your guys out of there, clear the sector. He's like, but we know they're hiding Quaid. He goes, perfect. Get out of Sector 7G or whatever. I don't think it's Sector 7G. I think that's The Simpsons. But it's similar. Who cares? Get out of the sector. And he's like, don't think, do it. Yes, sir. Michael Ironside, grumpy. So now the plan is turn off the air in the area. Duh. So all these mutants are going like, oh shit. Everyone looks at gathers around, all the townspeople gather around the big fan that blows the air in there. Really makes you feel sympathy and feel bad for all these people. And you see like the mutants and children and stuff. And you're like, aw, but also there's just like low lifes and and like like nasty hookers, and you're like, yeah, I feel bad for them too, which is a natural feeling. You should feel bad for everybody if they're like going to asphyxiate. But it really solidifies your sympathy with the regular folks on Mars, the people, from all walks of life. Tunnels, yes. They Benny, I don't know why I lead with him, but anyway, Benny, Melina, and Quaid go through these tunnels, digging into the truth. And there's like, it's like a little catacomb down there. There's like dead people, and they're explaining that these people like worked themselves to death building the Mars colony, and then Cohaagen gets all the money. Hey, the way of the world, right? Sucks ass. Yeah, and it built cheap. Oh yeah, that's the thing too. These domes, they cheaped out on these domes, and that's why the kids turned into freaks. Apparently, just low quality air or chemicals in the air, I guess. So people grow up all fucked up looking. But psychic, which is a problem for Cohaagen in the end. That psychic shit. And they got to buy air, says Benny. It's very dramatic, all this. Melina says Quado will tell Quaid what he forgot, maybe. That's the idea. It's like, look, but these guys are psychic. And we have a very powerful psychic on our hands called Quado. And he's going to figure out what's in your brain. But then dudes with guns show up. This is great. There's like a guy pops out from like behind like a mummy in like a little alcove, and like a bunch of dudes just with guns. And you're like, fuck. Like, I think it was just about to get romantic between Melina and Quaid. That is her name, right? It's not like Melinda or something. It's Melina. Meal. Yeah, but these guys are like the resistance, right? These are the rebels. And they look tough. Like the main guy that confronts them could be an action hero in his own right. And they're not so sure about Benny, but then he takes off his hand and reveals that underneath he has a mutant hand. And he's like, see my hand? I'm on your side. And they're like, okay, well, because of you being a mutant, you must be on our side. We'll trust you because you're deformed. Come on. You must be, supportive of our cause because, you're a mutant because of this asshole Cohaagen, basically, and you're with these guys. So, yeah, we'll trust you. Human leader. Yes, he has ear hair, I noticed. He's not that old, but he's sure got some ear hair. Just some guy. He seems to be the leader, and he's lit from behind, and you can see these wispy hairs coming out of his ears. I don't know why. I was like, wow, this is quite the shot of him with these beautiful hairs coming out of his ears. And he takes Quaid on. It's just the two of them. He takes Quaid to see Quado. Time to find out what's so important that Hauser knew, basically. Like, let's fucking get down to it right now. Before Cohaagen finds out or whatever. Anyway, because let's figure this out. So we got to go to Quado. And then this is great, where the guy's talking about Quado, and Quaid thinks he's so clever. He's like, you're Quado. And he goes, no, actually, I'm not. Idiot. Quado is a mutant that lives on my stomach. And he just doesn't say it quite like that, but that's about the long and short of it. He's like, oh, as Quado like comes alive on his tummy. Now, the first time I saw this movie, I mentioned I was a teenager, was high on marijuana. So up to this point, I don't think I was high. But right before this scene, this is on TV, remember, so I couldn't rewind and pause or anything at the time. I didn't have those capabilities. It was on like a big old monitor style, not monitor, big old TV, big fat TV with the big back, big cube-like TV. And I remember I went out, smoked some pot. This is before it was legal, guys. And then came back, turned on the TV, and what do I see? I just see Quado with no context. I don't know what's happening. I'm just like, I put together that it was Quado, but like the initial thing that I saw was just him, this little monster man. Super cool effect with like little hands and like a gross little baby coming out of that's just attached to this guy's stomach, and he's going, "Open your mind to me. Open your mind. Open your mind." So you can imagine what that was like for me. Terrifying. Pretty awesome though. I was like, okay, what's happening? And then I see Arnold, and I'm like, okay, I'm still watching the right movie. I didn't like accidentally, tune into some alien channel or something. But pretty freaky for a second there. Anyway, yeah, so they have this great conversation. Arnold kind of is still wanting some answers about who he is, basically. He's not happy not knowing who he is. And Kuato rightly says, "You are what you do." He's like, it doesn't matter, it's not who I am on the inside, but what I do that defines me. Alfred. Like that's basically it. He's like, look, it doesn't matter. Forget who you are for now. Just focus on what you're doing. It doesn't matter. Lose your ego here. That's the irony of this. Is it's kind of Kuato saying like, you're stuck with your ego right now. You're on an ego trip, whether it's been implanted in you or not. You're trying to figure out who you are. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Just know where you're going, I guess. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but I think it would be helpful it's a helpful thing to say in this situation. They hold hands and they do like a mind meld thing. This is where you get the open your mind stuff. Yeah, basically a mind meld, where he's probing his mind to see what's in there. Now, meanwhile, in Quaid's mind, and they're both experiencing this together. Awesome shot of like it's like the camera's like flying and drifting, looks like fucking Enter the Void. It's so great, and it's flying around this like in what seems to be like underground. You assume it's on Mars. It is, and it looks like some stuff we saw like the mines earlier. But this amazing underground. I love this where it almost looks like buildings. Like tall buildings, like skyscrapers coming out of the ceiling. It's so amazing. But with these it makes you feel so small. There's like these little walkways, like catwalks, where you can walk around. Pretty cool. I think I'm remembering that right. It's how it looks in my head. So yeah, and what they're seeing is the reactor, pretty important reactor. And one of the aspects of this is that there's like an alien handprint in the middle of this structure. It's like you just want to put your hand on it. Just instinctively, you just want to like do this thing with your fingers and put your hand on it, which someone might do later. But pretty cool. It's just so much is shown visually. It was actually really hard to write it down. I was like, okay, I definitely paused it this time. I was like, well, how do I describe what I'm looking at here? And a lot of this movie's like that. It's not giving you information. It's very cryptic, and it can be. It's intuitive. I hesitate to do an episode on like a Stanley Kubrick movie, even though I guess I have. I like A Clockwork Orange, and I think one on The Shining. But when something I am so into the visuals, it's sometimes hard to describe. But I should just not be a pussy and just do it. So that's what I did here. I've described it as best I can, but the visual storytelling is the main thing. It's like, nobody, like Arnold isn't seeing this and going like, oh my God, it's a reactor and there's a thing that I put my hand on. I don't even know if anybody ever says, put your hand on this thing. You just understand that that's what you have to do. It's like you put your hand in the alien hand print. You just know to do that. I don't know. Is that an earthquake? No, these burrowing vehicles, these like drill tanks, which are so awesome. I don't know why. I think I appreciate this more than I would as a kid, even like just these awesome, like these tanks that are drill, excavation vehicles that can just bore through things, I'm sure Elon Musk watched this and he's like, I'm going to start the Boring Company and we're going to make tunnels in California. That was a pretty okay Elon Musk. He talks. It's hard to put your finger on his speech style. Anyway, Quaid and the gang better get out of there because these dudes with guns show up. And then the saddest thing ever is, like, it's double sad. Benny shoots Quado. Fuck. Because Quaid, Melina, Quado, and Benny all escape. The Quado man, the Quado bearer. These four all escape, all the friends, but turns out Benny's evil. He betrayed all of them, and just like everybody in this fucking movie, you can't trust him. Yeah, and he shoots Quado. Super sad. And then you get the classic line from Quado. Quaid, start the reactor. Free Mars. I love you. Yeah, good idea. So Benny's an asshole. Turns out he doesn't have any kids. He's not married. He's just some dick. He's sold out the mutants, basically. He sold out everybody. Like, he's just a bastard. Because you like Benny up to this point. And then when he turns, he's just this grinning, just evil dick. It's great. He just loves money. What a jerk. So Cohaagen has Quaid and Melina and dead Quado, and Cohaagen says that everything was his plan. Oh, I should mention one thing that the weird little man said before getting shot. He tells Quaid, like, look, if you kill me, or if you keep going down your fantasy rabbit hole, you're going to, certain things are going to happen. And one of them was, you'll be Cohaagen's bosom buddy. That's how he puts it. And I, even watching it this time, I was like, I couldn't really remember what happened later in the movie. Excuse me. So I was like, his bosom buddy, like, how's he going to be friends with Cohaagen? That doesn't make any sense. But turns out that Cohaagen planned this whole thing, and Quaid was his idea. He, like, the Quaid as an identity, he was the one who, it wasn't just like Hauser, whatever. His version of reality is this. Hauser is the ultimate mole. That's you. We implanted you with this Quaid program, this idea that you were this guy, so that you would go do all these things and think you were Quaid the whole time, so that the psychics on Mars wouldn't detect you and go, that's Hauser, get him, or whatever. I don't know. But get past the mutants, get past Quado, lead us to Quado. That was the whole idea. Stop this guy, stop the rebels, so that I can do whatever I want. I'm Cohaagen. But the whole point being, not only is your whole life a construction as Quaid, but it's like, it was my idea and your idea as evil you. Man, oh man. I hope this is making sense. Quaid says no way. He does not believing that. His memory is erased to get past the psychics. Cohaagen says blah, 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 blah. Oh, and then he's like, actually, Richter got in the way because he didn't know all of this. That was part of how he operates, is, he's not telling Richter everything. And one of the things Richter doesn't know is the exact nature of Quaid and Hauser and what the general plan is. He didn't know any of this. Richter growls because fuck, Richter's just caught up in all of this, being a attack dog, and he lost his girl in the process, and he's being treated like shit the whole time. And then Hauser is seen on video, like, cuddling up to Cohaagen and kissing him on the neck and saying, "I love you, Cohaagen. I'm going to put my big Austrian sausage in your asshole." And then they have sex on camera, and while Quaid watches. No, but anyway, he says, "I want my body back." He's from the past saying, like, like as a video man, being like me, Hauser, I'm the real deal. You're bullshit. We're gonna have to get your whole memory out of there and put me back in your body, and you're gonna be me. You're gonna be an evil fuck, and you're gonna be best fucking buddies with this guy, Cohaagen. Shit, that sucks. So, Quaid and Melina are strapped into recall machines. Melina's going to get brainwashed as well, where they're going to turn her into a little wife for Hauser. It's like, you're going to be, what does he say, Hauser's babe. And this is interesting. I don't know. This is an interesting kind of, I haven't really thought about this that much, but they're offering Quaid, like, look, you're not going to be you anymore. You're not going to be you're not going to have your set of memories anymore. You're going to erase your past. You're going to have a different past and become someone else. This is interesting. Where he's like, you're going to be Hauser, but you're going to have a big house. You're going to have a nice car. You're in charge. Had enough of the world. Don't trust nobody. Got to look over your shoulder constant. That's from a song. But no, you're going to have this big, awesome life, and, she's going to be your wife. We're going to brainwash her so that she's like a Stepford wife kind of thing. She's just going to be like Pleasantville. She's just going to be, just a perfect, nice little obedient wife. And so Quaid is like, imagine being put in his shoes. He's being offered essentially the same thing. Sort of that he was in the beginning, which is like you're gonna be like this big action man, badass dude who lives this action hero life, but then also like your reward for this is going to be like a big house and obedient wife and lots of abundance and everything. So sort of, I don't know. I think this is important. I didn't really think about it that much until now, but I think it's like the message here is sort of saying like, look, yeah, you can be someone else, but what's the price of that? That's all. That's it. Like, it's like, yeah, you can be Hauser. You can have all this stuff that you fantasize about. Go ahead. But like, you might have to pay a price that it's not worth it. There you go. And so he's learning. I like when he's like, Cohaagen is up in Melina's face, and yeah, right? Someone is. And she says like, I'll bust his balls. And he's like, no, you won't. You're going to be a perfect little wife and obedient and blah, blah, blah. Oh, and Cohaagen watches on a little TV screen seeing all the people in Sector G dying. Like, they're all slowly dying. Very sad. And he's just like, well, whatever. He still won't pump air. He has Quaid. He has everybody. And he's just like, you know what? Let them die. It's going to be a good message to the rest of these peasants. Oh, yeah. And Richter's like, so he's not going to remember anything when he wakes up, right? Nope. Okay. So he punches Quaid in the fucking face, and then he walks away. And like, they're going to have a big party later. And of course, Hauser will come with his new wife, his new girl. And Richter says, that's great. He just turns around as he's leaving and he gives him a grin after he's punched him and says like, see you at the party. You just said that to Arnold Schwarzenegger, dude. Like, you're fucked, okay? You punched him in the face and said, see you at the party. Like, you're fucked. If you weren't fucked before, you've paid the price in a way because you lost your lover. And your life is a pain in the ass, and you have no idea what the fuck's going on ever. But now you just pissed off Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, really made it personal. Not going to end well for you. So the machines are activated, but because Arnold Schwarzenegger is so jacked, again, perfect casting. If it would have been anybody just slightly less muscular, this isn't him at his most jacked, obviously. But you just see like the veins in his arms going, and like, this is clearly made for humans and not for Schwarzeneggers, because he pulls the wrist restraint off, and it's got like a nice big like bolt or something coming out of it, and he just jams it into a guy's head. He is in full superhero mode here. He is gonna kill everybody. Yeah, he kills everybody basically. They escape. Sorry, evil scientists. And he's running with an axe. Lots of good movies have running with an axe. Cohagen says to kill Quaid. What an inept... Like, seriously, you have control over an entire planet, and you can't just fucking... Like, just shoot Quaid in the head. You overthought this, man. You don't have to be like this. But I guess he's in love with Hauser or whatever. I just think it's a little weird. To have that much control and still get so fucked like that. Got cocky, Cohagen. Like, spoiler alert, the good guys win. Anyway, so the machine is what? Oh no, I already went through this. Cohagen is being a real, like, I actually think he's losing his mind here. He's like a mad emperor where he was feeding his goldfish earlier, and then here he just knocks them onto the floor, and you see it shatters, and there's goldfish just gasping for air on the floor. Much like the people that he's killing. He's really losing it. He's becoming... You see him become more evil, I think, as the movie goes on. I think that's what's being indicated here. Because it's really disturbing, these shots of these goldfish dying. Like, they probably killed some goldfish. I don't know. I don't know. How many takes did it take? Those poor goldfish. Beautiful goldfish. Anyway, so Quaid leads Melina into mines to find the reactor. Benny attacks. Yeah, so yeah, just when you think you're safe from Benny, he shows up in one of these excavator tank things, and pretty great. You just see him in the little tank, and he's just, I don't know, or whatever you want to call these excavator things. And he's going like, "I'm gonna get you, sucker," and just being fucking great. I don't know if he says sucker, but he's doing that bit. Quit. So it's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, man. So he's just having a great time. Quaid defeats him with a handheld drill. I like this. Yeah, he's got this like handheld drill. He drills into a tube in the machine, and he gets oil all over the big drill, and then he drills into. He's like, and Benny's going like, "Where the fuck are you?" And he drills into the side of it, and it goes into the, like, right into Benny. And of course he yells, "Screw you!" Awesome. Pretty great victory. Benny's kind of shitty at stuff to get, again, like, or I guess you'd say Arnold's just so heroic. Maybe that's to make you question it more. Like, man, he sure is overpowered a lot, and then he ends up winning. But anyway, so yeah, they find an opening in the rock, and then they step out into this amazing like cave, basically, where you see it's from the vision that he had with Quado. This was in his head the whole time, and now here it is right in front of them. This awesome the reactor, By the way, I should mention, like, Cohagen doesn't, I don't know if I made this clear at all, but Cohagen doesn't want that thing turned on because he wants everybody to buy his air. I hope that was, like, that's implied, but I don't know if I'd stated that. So you turn that thing on, Cohagen's out of business, and basically you're gonna, it explains it here how it works, actually. It melts the ice in the core of Mars. I don't know if there's ice in the core of Mars. I know there's some ice on Mars. There's water on Mars. Anyway, but it melts the ice, and in so doing, it takes the oxygen from that, like, turns it into steam, I guess, and then just takes the oxygen, and the oxygen goes into the atmosphere. Sure. So then you get a nice atmosphere on Mars that you can live on. You can live on the planet. You don't have to live in a stupid dome. You can it'll be like a new Earth, basically. Soldier guys and Richter pop out. Yes, this is just when you think they're all on their own and they can finally take a fucking breath and just complete their mission here. Bad guys show up. Richter's quite happy, like we got him, but then guess what? It's a hologram. They all shoot at nothing. And then Quaid pops out behind them and shoots everybody. Great. Awesome. That hologram thing paid off. Quaid fights Richter. Yes, on an elevator. It's all like very like industrial looking. You have like shop lights actually, by the looks of it, lighting some of this stuff. And he kills him. And when he's falling to his death. He cuts his arm off or something. I didn't write the details of the fight down, but then Richter's dying, and guess what? Old Quaid says, "See you at the party, Richter." Ha ha ha! Man, he got his just desserts pretty fast after see you at the party. He he he. Like, yeah, you ain't going to no party. Only party you're going to is in hell, bitch. By the way, Mars feels like hell a lot of the time throughout this movie. Doesn't really like I don't think that's the subtext. It just has like a hellish feel to it, and like it makes Cohaagen feel very satanic. It's just cool. Makes it freakier to watch. I feel like I'm sweaty while I watch this movie. Anyway, so the reactor, yes. Cohaagen says that the reactor will destroy the planet. There's so many of these like dilemmas, these situations where Quaid or whoever has to decide who to trust. And here he's just gonna trust not Cohaagen. What does he say? Oh yeah, I like what Cohaagen says. He's like, why not just be Hauser? Just be Hauser and you'll be happy. Like, you just had to be Quaid. And Quaid says, I am Quaid. Cool. That's a big moment. Like, it's like self-actualizing, I guess. It's good. But also there's always the reverse of everything in this movie. So anyway, so Melina shoots Cohaagen. Quaid throws there was a bomb there. Just attention, just fucking pumped into every scene. All the corners are filled with tension. There's a bomb. He's going to blow it up. They say, fuck you. They throw the bomb away. Cool explosion. They get the suck, I wrote. Yes, the bomb. There are consequences to everything in this movie. The bomb blows up. They're going to get sucked out into Mars. Cohaagen flies out. Takes forever to die. I love this. Like at the beginning when Arnold gets sucked out in his dream and his eyes are popping out. And it's just like he turns into like a bloated monster and then dies. Cohaagen does that same thing, but he flies out, falls down a steep hill, and he's just like, I wrote, whoa. He dies a horrible death because he's just going, his eyes like cartoonishly like bloop out of his head. Very unreal. Wink wink, right? Because like, would that happen on Mars or anywhere? Probably not. Maybe, I don't know. We haven't done the science. We haven't sent a guy out on Mars without a spacesuit to see what happens yet. Elon Musk, you get on that, buddy. Maybe he is. Maybe he's secretly doing that. I don't know. Lena shoots Cohaagen. Oh, whatever. Was he already shot? Whatever. He dies on Mars. Clearly, it keeps cutting back to him, like deforming. Quaid does the thing with the handprint. He puts his hand on there, and the reactor starts. Really, really cool. I realized watching this, I think I'd only seen it all the way through one time. Because I barely remember this part. It was really cool. All those like building looking things, like it's like these giant like lava hot cylinders come down and sink into the ice, and it's pretty convincing looking. Like, it looks really cool. for 1990, like it looks rad. Steam, of course, shooting all over the place. But also Quaid and Melina fly out as well. So shit, better atmospherize, whatever. What's the word for that? Better get an atmosphere on your planet real quick. Again, the tension is just, you have to have that. It can't just be they sit there or stand there and go like, it's working. Like that would be lame, right? So that happens in movies. I'm not going to spoil any. Being real careful. Been very lackadaisical about that in the past. I'm not going to spoil. I'm thinking of Mad Max Fury Road, like the end of that one. There's a bit of a like, there's just, let's stand here and watch the problem get solved. If you know what I'm talking about, then you do. If you don't, you don't. But anyway, here they don't have that lame, like, let's watch, like let's quietly watch while our plan works. They are asphyxiating on the surface of Mars, and their eyes are getting bigger and bigger, and they're just like, Lena looks like an anime character at one point. The big eyes. They don't get to just be like, yay, happy moment. Not yet, anyway. Like giant geysers have to shoot steam and hot water and oxygen, mainly, I guess, based on how this reactor works. That shit's shooting out of the fucking desert while these guys try not to die, but are very clearly getting close to doing so. Yeah. And there's an earthquake, the dome so harsh that the dome breaks. This all feels like biblical. This feels heavy as shit. Obviously, it's like a whole planet changing its getting in like an oxygen-rich atmosphere. It's a big deal. Martian technology, super cool. But it's cool to see in a movie. It's like the kind of thing you'd see in a video game and be like, that was really cool. But in a movie, when you're trying to make it look real, it is better. Sorry, video games. But it's a real achievement here. It really looks amazing, and you feel like you're just like, yeah, cool. Wow, Mars is going to have an atmosphere now. I've suspended a lot of disbelief throughout this movie, so I'm ready. People are freaking out, obviously, because their precious dome is broken, and there's just broken glass raining from the sky. Shit. But then the sky turns blue. You get clouds forming. Dean Norris is starting to breathe again, and everyone's waking up, and they all look up, and it kind of it's funny. I keep mentioning the time I watched this after with the people who are still awake at a party, and it was like I sort of remember this part because it was like there's people just lying around everywhere, and like at this party I'm like looking around, there's people like lying around. I'm making this sound like a huge party. It wasn't. Anyway. Doesn't matter. It was just my favorite time that I've watched this movie. That's why I keep bringing it up. I hope that becomes a trend. People staying up all night and then watching Total Recall. I want to carry on that tradition. But yeah, so they're going to have an Earth-like atmosphere now. This is great. And Arnold and his new gal, they just glorious. They just ascend this. I'm looking up at the Wander Over a Sea of Fog print that I have. Go look that one up. Where it's just like the guy up on the peak, like looking down at the fog, and there's mountains and stuff. Like that's kind of the shot here. They're like walking up together and looking at the new Mars that they've created. Thanks, aliens. And freaks and hookers and shit. They all bask in sunlight. Melina says, I can't believe it. It's like a dream. Arnold says, I just had a horrible thought. What if it is a dream? Yeah, he's like, well, shit, what if it is a dream? It finally dawns on him, right? He's like, oh, geez. What if this is all fake? Oh, no. It's kind of like an existential crisis that I have sometimes when things go really well. It's like, wow, pinch me, that whole thing. But I can really feel like, wow, I don't deserve it or whatever. Like, I don't know. Or just like, how is this, like, this is too good to be true. If you've ever had that thought, this will make sense to you. But I love the way it ends pretty abruptly at this point. It's just like he just says, "What if this is a dream? What if I did imagine all this and I'm drooling on a chair?" And she says, "Well, then kiss me quick before you wake up." Okay. And then that's it. They kiss and Mars is saved and it's fantastic. Cohagen's dead. Richter's dead. He beat the bad guys. He did all those things that he said he would do. And then the movie ends before he wakes up, So, which is sort of like the meta thing, because like as an audience, it's like you're like when a movie ends, it is kind of like, especially if you're in a theater, it is like waking up from a dream, because movies are like dreams and all that. But like that's one of the aspects of it. It seems real while you're watching it. You really feel like if you're having a proper cinematic experience, you feel like you're there or you feel like it's happening to you, or that it's at least that it's happening for real. And then you wake up and you realize it's all over. So like, yeah, Quaid is not a real person. He's a character played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Same with Hauser. It's all fake. It is all pretend. So there's a bit of like, I don't know. I like that a lot. That it's just such a great ending. Just like, kiss me quick before you wake up. Kiss, movie ends. Yeah, there's something neat about that. It's like, I think of like A Midsummer Night's Dream. So I did a performance in that twice in my life. One when I was like 11, and then one again when I was like 17. As a kid, I did a lot of acting, a lot of Shakespeare stuff. Anyway, but there's a part at the end where like the last thing is like this fairy dude comes out, right? It's Puck comes out and says, like, look, this is all a dream. This is all pretend. If we offended you, sorry, but it's all pretend. None of this is real. If this doesn't sync with your reality, well, that's because it's not reality. It's right there in the name. It's called A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's just pretensies. And that's kind of what I'm getting here is like, it's all a lot of winking at the audience throughout this movie, but that's a really nice way to cap it off. Is just say like, hey, what if this is all pretend? And like, in the back of it kind of, I don't know. Anytime a film acknowledges that it's a film is interesting to me. And that's what's kind of happening there. Anyway, yeah, so that's Total Recall. I think I've kind of given my take on it at this point. And yeah, leave a comment or whatever. Curious to hear what other people think. If they have any deep thoughts on this movie or just, disagree with me or whatever. I don't really want to have an argument, but but feel free to comment. I just might think about it. I might not necessarily be like, no, you're wrong. I don't want to do that. I want that to be my life, and I don't want that for you. Yeah, give your thoughts on this movie because I think it's really interesting. And if you think I need to watch the remake, state your case, but I probably won't. Yeah, and if you have any requests, go ahead. And you know what? You made it to the end of the episode. I'll tell you what I'm going to do for the next episode. It's not going to be a movie review, but at this point, I have decided I'm going to do my first non-movie podcast about the Beatles. Get ready for that. And yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching if you're watching this on the video. And I'm Chris LaRose. This is Every Goddamn Week signing off. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
Every Goddamn Week. goddamn week.